The song was Crazy Love. The year was 1979. I'm Rusty Young of Poco, and these are the sounds of the time.
Rusty Young grew up in Denver, Colorado in the 1950s.
My folks were big country music fans. I remember listening to the Grand Ole Opry. When I turned 6, they started me on guitar lessons. And so I started learning to play guitar, and then, just over the years, I learned all the other instruments.
Young grew up to become a musician, and in 1968 was hired to play on an album by legendary rock group Buffalo Springfield.
Richie Furay had a song called Kind Woman. They wanted a pedal steel guitar on it. And a friend of mine worked for the Springfield, and he suggested me. And looking back on it, that was really the first Poco recording, because the guys in the Springfield didn't play on that record on each of their songs.
In fact, Buffalo Springfield was in the process of breaking up. But Richie Furay was so happy with Young's playing that he invited him to form a new band, one that also would introduce a new sound.
Richie was the lead singer in the Buffalo Springfield, and we had this idea back then of taking his rock and roll melodies and songs that he wrote in his voice, and the palette to color that would be country instruments. And it was country rock. We decided that we were going to carry that idea, that concept forward, and that started this whole California country rock movement in the late 60s.
The band scored a gig at the famous Troubadour nightclub in Los Angeles.
We ended up the house band there for quite a long time. And we had Steve Martin was our opening act. So it was a really exciting time, and you could feel it in the air. And all of a sudden you felt that spark. And the LA Times review, Robert Hilburn, who was a famous reviewer, called us the next big thing. Poco is the next big, which was the kiss of death.
In fact, other bands who took Poco's lead became country rock superstars, while Poco had to wait a decade for success.
It was 10 years after the original band that we had our first #1 hit, the biggest hit ever for Poco. I wrote Crazy Love when we lived in Los Angeles, and actually at the time I was working on the house. I was paneling a wall, and I always have a guitar close, and the rhythm of that song, it happens all the time, that rhythm just came to me. So I grabbed the guitar and I wrote it down, wrote all the words down. I took it to Paul, and I said, I got this new song I want to play for you. And I said, in the chorus comes, it goes, ooh, crazy love, don't worry, I'll put words in there. Those won't be using. And Paul said, no, you keep the oohs and ahs. Right at that time, Timothy B. Schmidt left to join the Eagles. At the same time, George Grantham, our drummer, left to join the Byrds. And so it was just me and Paul Cotton. And the label was going to drop us. And we didn't know that we were on the cusp of being dropped, or we'd have been really nervous. But they came down and we played Crazy Love for them. And they said, I think you should go make another record. And we did.
That wasn't the only piece of luck that Poco had with the song.
We wanted to release Crazy Love in November. And everybody said, you can't release a single in November because all the radio stations are gearing up to play Christmas songs. And as it turns out, everyone else listened to that, so no one released new music for those 2 months. So we were like the only game in town. It was #1 for 6 weeks and a million-selling record. It saved the band. The band would have ended in 1978 if it weren't for that song.
Crazy Love remains Poco's biggest hit and a country rock classic.
We have these fans that have grown up with us, the Poco Nuts they call them. We have all these 50 years have been there. I'm so thrilled because how rare is it that you have a song like that reaches that many people, that they're remembered. When we get to the chorus at the end, everybody sings it. I'm thrilled to have that song, to be able to play that song and have a song everybody knows.